Well, hello, and welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today I have a review for you, but we're doing things a little bit differently this time. You will see we are on the interwebs, on a web page, an Indiegogo page to be exact. I was actually contacted by Katerina Grishina, and she's the maker of these CODA notebooks, and she said she wanted to send me a couple for review. And she also linked to this Indiegogo page, and so I thought I would show you this first. I'll talk a little bit about some of the features of this notebook, and then we will cut to actual life reality, well, as real as it can be on the internet, and I will show you the notebooks in my hands, talk about them a little bit. But first, this Indiegogo page. Now, I did a little research, and I also found that she has an Etsy shop where you can purchase these notebooks. It looks like she also had a Kickstarter at one point, and now she's doing funding through Indiegogo. And so there's different tiers. The notebooks themselves, these CODA notebooks, are a small and a large leather notebook cover, and you also get inserts for the notebooks. Just scroll down through some of these here. You can see the large here is 5.7 inches. The small is 4 inches wide. And basically, they're a leather cover with pockets, and you can fit these inserts inside. And with the tiers she has here, you can see that $1 is just a thank you. You're just helping her project. $5, you can get 2 extra notebooks for the small CODA. $9, you can get 2 extra notebooks for the large CODA. $23 is an early bird special for the small notebook. And 3 out of the 25 have been claimed here as of the recording of this video. And here you can get the once these early bird ones are gone, you can just do $28 for the CODA small. Here's an CODA S with 2 extra notebooks for $33. Early bird for the CODA L, the large, is $39. And if those are all used, it's $44 for the large. But if we look at the Etsy shop, you can see if we select a large notebook, it is $52. So you're actually saving if you go through this Indiegogo site. So that might be a good option for you. If all of these tiers get claimed, then you can use the Etsy shop here. Again, I will have links to both of these, the Indiegogo site or web page, and then the CODA Etsy shop. I will put links in the description box below. But I just wanted to show you that you have some options here. You can do different tiers. You can get refills. You can get just the notebooks. You can get the notebooks with extra inserts. There are many options that you can scroll through, and there's a lot of good information about the notebooks in case I miss something when I'm showing you them. Just talks a little bit about each, the small and the large, shows you all the different colors available, black, brown, and cognac. And then she has a nice little video at the beginning here where she just talks about why she decided to make these, her philosophy behind the things that she creates. Interesting stuff. And again, if all of these tiers get used up, it looks like she fully funded her Kickstarter and now she's going through Indiegogo. You can save a little bit doing it this way, but if all of these get taken and claimed, then you can go through the Etsy shop. At least that's the way I think it works. But let's get into these actual notebooks. We will cut to the Stuff and Things studios where I can show you them in hand. And here they are. We have the large notebook, the CODA L in cognac, and then the small notebook, the CODA S in brown. But let's start with the large one. We'll put the small to the side for now. You can see the notebooks have these nice leather covers, nicely stitched, handmade. Really cool leather. This is the same kind of leather that we see a lot, you know, kind of in the Midori Travelers, not the exact same leather, but the kind that will really take on scrapes and scratches really well. A nice patina, should age nicely. Fairly thick leather, but not so thick that the notebook, if I can take this little strap out, wants to stay open. It's very pliable and nice. So you can see the basic construction here. You have a little strap holding it closed, and I find that that holds it actually quite well. There's cool little details here, little stitching details, and then this strap is held in place by that stitching. And then inside you basically have this leather cover, the notebook itself, which in the large is 90 pages, and then you have a pocket here for cards. I just grabbed some expired gift cards here that I can show inside or shove inside to show you. This pocket will apparently hold a passport. I haven't tested that. And then you can also put tickets and things like that inside here. There's a paper insert that I didn't notice before. We make our notebooks with genuine leather called Crazy Horse. This type of leather doesn't actually come from horses. The name was given because it is popular with horse saddles and it is known for its high quality and strength. So sort of like bridle leather perhaps. The leather has been treated to look and feel aged while retaining its toughness. The more you use it, the better it will look. Each piece of leather is unique and truly the work of nature. Rubbed, it will change its color and will give it an antique look. This notebook will show all of its beauty with age and would help tell your story. So that's nice. You can fit tickets, things like this in here. This larger journal is meant to be kind of a travel journal. And again, you have the same pocket in the back. It's where you actually put your insert, but you can use that for other little notes, tickets, receipts, things like that. The dimensions on this large notebook, it is 5.7 inches by 8.6 inches. And then the notebook itself, 90 pages, it is 5 inches by 8.4 inches. A fairly standard size. You should be able to find other inserts that will fit inside this cover, but you can also order more from CODA, either through the Etsy shop or the Indiegogo site, which I showed you earlier. And as I mentioned, the pricing is kind of interesting. You have several different options. If you just want to buy it on Etsy, if the Indiegogo tiers have been all taken, you can get it for $52 on Etsy with one insert, or you could do $39 for the early bird on Indiegogo, or once those are used up, $44 on Indiegogo. So you can save money on Indiegogo. And again, like I said, and like I showed you, there are other tiers for extra inserts or just getting inserts, many different options. So make sure you check those links in the description, which I provided below. But let's do our little tests like we always like to do. We'll get a couple fountain pens and just see how this paper holds up. Again, you can put pretty much any insert you want that will fit. But if you're just buying the standard notebook with the standard insert, this paper does not feel super heavy. I'm not expecting it to do amazingly well with fountain pens, but really what you're paying for is the cover, not the notebook itself. So here we go through the tripod. Always a fun little exercise here. We will write my name. I'm skipping like crazy. I haven't used this pen in a while. Let's see here. Well, actually, that did quite well. I don't really see any show through. I don't see any bleed through either. So maybe this paper is going to surprise me. Let me try a slightly wetter ink, one that has a tendency to bleed a little bit more. This is a Iroshizuku ink Yamabudo in my Pilot 823. It's very narcissistic, just writing my own name. My God, it's hard to write through this tripod. Here we go. Now let's take a look on the reverse side and see what we have here. Again, nothing. Not bad at all. This paper is of a higher quality than I thought. Now we could put a nice patch of ink down and see what that does. But so far, so good. It seems like with regular writing, and these aren't super, you know, this is a Japanese medium nib, so it's fairly fine. But I was using on that Lamy 2000, that's just a Western medium nib, so fairly meaty. Put a nice patch of this Iroshizuku ink down. If it's gonna bleed with anything, it would probably bleed with that. Yeah, so you get a little bit of bleed, a healthy amount of bleed if you're laying down a big patch like that. But for normal writing, these inserts that are provided with the book are not bad at all. So you have that option. You can continue getting inserts from CODA, or you could probably put your own inserts in, whichever you prefer. But that is the large notebook. And I have to say, in the hand, it feels really nice. I think you can get a lot of good utility out of this with these extra pockets, being able to put a passport in, credit cards, ID if you want, maybe a little cash. Pretty nice. I like it. And like I said, the strap holds it closed quite nicely. Now let's talk about the smaller notebook, the CODA S. This one is 4 inches by 6 inches, the cover is, and then the actual insert that is included is 3.5 by 5.5. Now I wanted to test to see, this insert is, get this out of here. This is 50 sheets. You can see stitched, so these are made by her, by Katarina. These CODA inserts, it has the exact same paper as the large, and we already saw that it handles fountain pens pretty well. And like I said, there are all these different options for different tiers on Indiegogo or through Etsy. You could buy the notebooks themselves or the inserts themselves separately, or you can buy the notebooks with extra inserts included. Many different options, many different pricing structures. But a lot of people like field notes, ba-boom, and they do fit quite well. You can see the size compared to the insert, basically exactly the same height, and maybe just the field notes is slightly less wide, but it fits quite well into this cover. So kind of that field notes cover genre is pretty popular, and you've got another one right here. Fits just fine. If I can do this through the tripod, it's always fun. Ugh. It's actually much easier to get this in. There we go. You can see it fits quite nicely. If you're not dealing with a tripod, you could do that a little bit more easily than I did. Now the small notebook cover also has an extra pocket here for tickets and things. Apparently this will also fit a passport into this pocket. And again, receipts, tickets, cards, you can put whatever you want in here. It doesn't have as many pockets or dividers as the large notebook does, but again, really nice leather, feels really supple and soft. And if you have a notebook, the field notes isn't great at it, but if you have a notebook that stays open, the cover itself stays open very well. It's nice and pliable. And again, we have the strap closure, the nice little stitching details on the front, hand stitched all around. I think it's quite nice and a very nice quality. The small notebook you can get for $29 on the Etsy shop, or there are the different tiers on the Indiegogo webpage. There's $23 for the early bird. There were still some available when I was recording this video, and then $28 after the early bird is over. So again, you're saving money if you go through the Indiegogo site. And again, all sorts of different options. You can get the inserts that are available from CODA, or you can go with your own. We showed you the field notes covers, or the field notes work inside this cover. And I'm sure there are other options that are 3.5 by 5.5 inches. I'm sure there are many other notebooks that fit that description that would fit inside this cover. So whatever your preference is will probably work. So there you have it, the CODA L and the CODA S notebook covers. I think both are very versatile and very handsome and very reasonably priced. And like I said, check the description box below. You can see the Etsy shop and the Indiegogo site, because there are all sorts of different tiers and pricing options, and you can pick the one that makes the most sense to you. So thank you so much for watching this review of these CODA notebook covers. I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.